Welcome to Be Fab, Be You Made Simple, your daily dose of inspiration designed to help you reinvent yourself by optimizing your body and mind. I am Maria Horstman, a health editor and coach, a fitness trainer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, founder of BeFabBeYou.com. Our episodes are short and will bring you valuable content and practical nuggets for optimal health and fitness that you can implement ASAP. Let's get you to feel fabulous every day. Are you ready? Check out the show notes too. 1, schedule a free call with me to discuss a plan to take your health to the next level. 2, submit a question to be featured in our Ask Me Anything episodes on Sundays. Connect with me on social media and much more. Hit the subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, share with your friends and leave it a rating. And I'm talking to you individually. I know it's been a minute, okay? Has been almost a month that by the time this is released, actually, I'll be a month that I haven't spoken to you. But today I'm here and I'm live on this video because I'm very inspired by a conversation I had this morning. So I thought I would kick my podcast back up, because of this inspiration thing. Like Elizabeth Gilbert says in her book, The Big Magic, inspiration comes and goes. And we do sometimes our best work, or we inspire people the most when actually we go with the inspiration and the idea that we had. So welcome back. I am alive and I'm sound and I'm happy and I am healthy as well. And I hope you are the same. I am Maria Horstman, your host. I'm also a functional wellness practitioner, personal trainer, corporate wellness consultant, speaker, podcaster. Hey, you name it. I'm all about health and wellness. Okay. And I'm glad that you're listening to me and watching maybe me today. So first I want to kick off with saying, I hope you enjoyed the last series that I did about the Horstman weight loss pill. If you missed that, go back because it's really awesome. Okay. Second is I want to give you an update what has happened in the last month. And then I'm going to go on to talk about what is today's episode inspired by. And actually it's inspired by caregivers and the aging population. And I'm really going to bring somebody in to talk about this too, but I'll talk more about it. So what has been going on in the month of March? So maybe you know this or not, but I have words, this one over here has been in my wrist for over a year. It's, I am consistent. So this was my couple words from for 2021. It is continuing to be 2022. And the consistency that I want to have this year is networking. I used to love networking. And for some reason, I put it on the back burner, and I says, forget about that. I love people and I love to meet people. I love to know about their lives and see if there is a way I can help them in some way, connect them, all that kind of stuff. So I decided that this year, 2022, is a year of connection. And I am so freaking happy that I've decided to commit to this because it has been awesome. I've been meeting phenomenal people. That also means that I'm going on out there for quite a bit, anything between 6 to 8 events on a month. And then one-on-one calls, but that's where things shine. And like I said, I'm inspired. This podcast today is inspired by one of these connections that I made last week. So hold on to that. So I'm super happy that I've made this decision. So that's one of the words, right? My words. Another one is right here. I carry it. And sometimes this thing when I'm working out is actually bouncing on my chin and even my teeth. And I'm like, yes, Maria. And that is fruition. So there you go, folks. I tell my clients all the time, with consistency, we can get results. So that's what it is. These things remind me that as I'm consistent with something, I get a fruition. Whatever the fruition is, that it means something to you. To me, is to inspire the world to be healthier, to live a healthier lifestyle, so they can age beautifully. Like, remember my Be Fab, Be You is be fit and healthy, age beautifully, be you. That's what the acronym FAB is. but also fabulous, right? So that's what's going on. Also, something cool that happened is I decided, since my hairstyle is short and I've been caring for over a year now, and I think it's coming to stay because it's very low maintenance. Low maintenance is Maria here. I decided to do a new photo shoot, and I went back to my awesome friend Ron in his studio, and I did that in two kind of segments or 2 different days, and we took I think it was over 600 pictures. I know, total of maybe about 6 to 7 hours in both days. And now I got all these amazing pictures, business pictures, more casual stuff, and there is a few more things that I'm going to do with somebody else. But here's something cool that coincidentally happened that I would like to share. My mom passed away on October 20th, 2021. And, I went through a very tough patch the last at least 3 months. And then the second part of the shooting happened on March 20th. So the same day I was like, oh my God, after I left the shooting, I'm like, wow, that is the same day my mom passed, making 5 months. But why is this relevant? Because last time I did this big shooting, was 2017. Also, Ron did that for me. And man, I spent 8 hours at his house, over 750 pictures. I mean, I got some amazing stuff done. And I remember sending my mom these pictures, right? There was like bikini pictures, there was a lot of dress pictures and all this stuff. And my mom says, it's hard. The translation is kind of a little different, but she's basically saying, my daughter, why don't you dress up more often? You look like a model. Your body's like a model. And on and on and on and on, because I make up and I put in some nice dresses and the bikini and was looking good and all that kind of stuff. And, and she's begging me basically, to dress up and put some makeup more often and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, mom, it's too much work. And she's like putting her hands, her face. And it says, oh my God, there is no hope for you. And it says, anyway, so it's funny that I did this shooting on the 20th of March, 5 months anniversary, I guess, of her passing. And I'm glad that I can talk to you this time without crying. And, I totally believe that mom was upstairs thinking, all right, when are you going to dress up more often? Blah, blah, blah. I didn't do any bikini photos this time, but the dresses, and I'm telling you, I still got it. 47, I still got it. I'm still, doing this for actually inspired by my mother, as my leaving a 6-figure career, transform my health and wellness, get rid of my sugar addiction, get my digestive system intact and my eating disorder. All this was inspired by how my mom was aging. And I didn't want to be like her, My process started when I was 36, so 11 years ago, and a lot has changed in my life. And I got to give it to her as to be an inspiration. I know this sounds awful, but it's like, I don't want to be, aging like her because, I want to be independent and stay independent and to do the things that I love for as long as I can. And the way I was seeing my mom going with her health was totally the opposite. And unfortunately, that's how it was for the last several years. But anyway, I wanted to bring that kind of thing. So that's what happened too. So a lot of networking being going on, a lot of projects potentially happening because of this networking and this photo shoot. So here we are. And I'm naming today's podcast as, I wrote it down, Caregivers and the Aging Population, right? So I'm going to share another story here that you may or may not know, but when I was in corporate in 2012, this was the year of 2012. I had a unfortunate kind of experience with one of the executives in this company, and maybe kind of rethink about my path into becoming a CFO one day. And to make the story short, I went on a vacation in 2013 to Thailand. It was a 2-week vacation, and part of that was a 5-day live aboard. And I met my friend Chica, who at the time was living in Singapore. She's still living there. And so she came to Thailand. We did scuba diving. We spent, a few days together, New Year's also, and all that. And I told her, and it says, Chica, I gotta figure this out. This corporate in this finance role might not be where I'm gonna end up because of this experience that I had, and there's something bigger. And I had already kind of started my health path. I knew there was something there that was going to be for me, and so there was that. And I knew in that vacation, I took the time to write down all the things that I loved, that I says, what are the things that I can do for free. And, for the rest of my life, if I could do it for free, what would be those things? And I put a few things down, and then I start going the pros and cons of those things. And some of those things, well, I'm a little maybe too old. I'm not willing to give that up, this and that and things like that. Anyway, I started scaling this thing down. I came back from that vacation. And I started talking to, I went lunch with a colleague of mine. She also had graduated from the full-time executive MBA at Emory. I did the executive MBA at Emory. But anyway, and I was telling her all those things that are going to my mind, and all those paths that I was thinking. She was listening, and I says, I got to figure this out. This very next day, she sent me an article. I linked to an article, and this article is what made me to make my decision, or what this career one day was going to be. And by the way, this is beginning of 2013. 2013. Yes, 2013. That's right. And this article was about this man who was, I want to say now, I don't remember specific about his age, but he was in the 70s or 80s. And he was actually training in leading classes to seniors. And he spoke with so much love about giving the seniors mobility and flexibility, and how this was so important and brought so much joy to him. And when I read that, I felt the electricity in my body. And I says, that's it. I want to impact people, from the core, so they can live their lives, better and healthier, and feel like they are empowered, that they feel like they're in charge and in control of our aging process. And that was it. So soon after that, I enrolled into becoming a personal trainer. But again, I says, this is going to be a career later on. Well, shortcutting this process over here became a lot sooner. I ended up leaving corporate, lasted about 2 years after that. So all these stories to tell you that sometimes, folks, if something doesn't speak to us, something is going on in your career or your life, we got to step away. And that's what I did. We got to assess what is really in our heart. And look, this was right by the time I left, it was 2015. And look at me now. I have transformed the life of many, 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 many people. And that is such a reward. It has not been an easy journey, as you may imagine, of any entrepreneur, or maybe you are an entrepreneur, and every choice of entrepreneurship is different. So I'm not selling a product, I'm selling a transformation journey. And I've grown, I've transformed myself tremendously during this process. I want to say that half of this time has been Maria being transformed. And all this, I basically give back, that I put it right back to my clients as well, because I see so many things, and I'm very passionate about being, a catalyst to them as well, and to anybody who comes into my life, friends or even strangers. So now, after all this blah, blah, blah over here, let me get into this conversation about caregivers. Because this is important. And so about, I started networking, and I met a gentleman, the brand new, franchise owner. Fred Frost has been with this franchise, he and his husband, for the last almost 6 months now. I think just turned 6 months. And it's actually a caregiver kind of a service provider. The name of the business is Caring Senior Services. And anyway, I met with Fred 101 a few weeks ago to understand what all his business does. And they have the final, actually, grand opening, last week. And well, who do I meet? I met actually the owner and the founder, the CEO of the company, Jeff Salter. And we had a pretty good conversation about, get to know each other. And look, this man is really passionate about, helping seniors in the community. And I also, in this grand opening that I spent about an hour and a half or so there, I met wonderful people leading wonderful organizations that they have their hearts to the seniors. Okay. And look, this is tough. Okay. This is tough. So, the Caring Senior Services does a lot. And I'm going to bring Jeff to the podcast so he can tell more about it. But, these individuals could be in hospice. They could be, being serviced. For anything from a few days to many weeks. This company goes to their homes, go to wherever they need to go to help the seniors that are in critical health conditions, right? So from my perspective, it is, I'm not basically saying that as a wellness coach that I'm going to go and talk to the seniors, that might have a few weeks left onto their journey and all that. And yes, I could do that, but there is a lot going on into their paths. What I want to help really are the caregivers, this people's children's, okay, or even grandchildren's who are actually helping the seniors ending their life with more peace. There is a lot going on. And I'm going to bring, like I said, Jeff to the podcast to talk about it. But I want to share this there is sometimes people don't want to have these hard conversations about, the ending of a life. The reality is this is going to happen. We're never prepared when this is going to happen. And sometimes, there are incidents, there is stressors that come to our life. There really is the tipping point of this. And a person could be fine. And, all of a sudden is not fine anymore. It could have been a cold, could be a flu, could be a virus, could be something. And I'm talking about the elderly, right? Because I was talking to Jeff this morning because I'm saying, Jeff, how can I help the caregivers? What does your company do for the caregivers today? Because I want to be part of the awareness journey of this caregiver saying now they're mostly in their 40s and 50s and even 60s, right? That they're kind of helping now their parents to go to the next phase of their journey, which unfortunately is not here with us. But it's an extremely stressful process. So these caregivers are not thinking much about themselves, right? They're not thinking, it's all about my mom, my dad, or my my grandmother or grandfather, whatever that is. Sometimes we get the youngsters helping in, as well. And the caregivers, they forget about their own health and wellness. And that could be that process, whatever they're engaged, if it is a couple of weeks, if it is maybe years. Imagine the dementia, a journey that can be years. And the caregivers are taking a lot. It's a huge stressor to the body. And that can create chaos, significant chaos, into the body that, a year later, 2 years later, the body, it goes, the caregivers also reach a tipping point. So I'm begging you, if you are a caregiver, I begging you to, to kind of step away. And I want to ask you this. Do you think that if you were to have more energy, more clarity, more sleep, eat well and exercise and all that, that would be helping your, caretaker, that person that you taking care of, more zest, more attention, more presence? I know you're doing the best if I'm talking to you specifically, or you might know somebody else, right? Just evaluate what is going on, because I want you to take care of yourself so you become, the best person to that person who is leaving, that is in the last straw of their lives. Okay. And plus, there is a likelihood that there is others around you. There is your own family, your own children that are involved on that process, right? So what is the environment around them? Is extremely stressful? Are you, what kind of practices are you doing to kind of, I need to take care of me as well, and being a catalyst to the rest of the family, so you feel better about this. Okay, that this does not become the little thing that's going to tip your health to the next level as well, that could have happened the same thing to that person that you're taking care of today. It is, and I got to share my story over here with my mom and my sister. Look, I've been in the US for it's going to be 26 years in July. My mom's health problems started really when I was a teenager, that I can remember, young teenager, with the arthritis and things like that, and then progressed. It progressed to a lot of digestive issues, ulcers. God, we went through a lot. The thing is, my sister, she was a nurse. She's a retired nurse now, but she was an excellent, very committed nurse. She, in many ways, were the primary caregiver of my mom. Okay, especially in these years that I've been in the US. But my mom trusted my sister for all her medication, for conversations about her health, for what doctor to go and all that. And oftentimes my sister was not close by, but my sister was still helping my mom to make those decisions, those conversations and medications and things like that. My mom always trusted my sister for her health care. Eventually, my sister moved home. Okay, back close to my mom. And for a long time, she was, living with my mom. Well, that took a toll on my sister. I think that I'm forever grateful to my sister for taking that role. But I also saw the relationship issues, you can imagine, I don't know what kind of family, you have, but the relationship my mom and my sister had was a love one. It was deeply love, but it was a lot of issues there too, a lot of arguments, a lot of anger also going on from past years and all this kind of stuff. So these things, when a person is sick, and is not going well, it doesn't feel, in case of my mom, not feeling her best. When we don't feel our best, these emotions come out, right? You've probably been in that place, that it could be emotional, financial, mental stress, physical stress, right? Caused by multiple things, not only the diet, but the stress of busy, in case of my mom, raising 3 kids on her own and things like that. But all this becomes stressors. And sometimes we let it go out, right? The words that come out maybe are not the best around our family members. And my sister being so close, it kind of created, some tough times. Okay. And I know that created also, it led to a place where my sister couldn't do it anymore. She had to distance herself from there because there was a lot of emotional abuse as well. My mom was starting in the last few years, last couple of years, forgetting a lot of stuff. She was getting even more stubborn and became really difficult. Okay. And I'm saying this from being far apart. And I would make phone calls and spend a lot of time with my mom, but I never went through the same hardships that my sister did. And yes, I do have a brother, but bless his heart, he didn't get involved as much. And so anyway, not talking bad or good or anything like that. That's each one of our journeys, right? So look, if my sister could speak English, I would bring her to this podcast and share so much of her journey of being a caregiver to my mother. I just know, being on the phone with both of them separately, I was trying to be the middle person, and it was stressful to me doing that. So I took different roles, right? As a younger sister, I took the role of creating the space and helping my sister to kind of vent and give her some guidelines on increasing her compassion, breathing and kind of letting things go a little bit, having deep conversations, and actually share a lot of the things that I was learning from the space that I had created with my mom. In the last few years of her life, I decided that the daughter was going to was one that created the space to listen to my mom, to create this space for her to tell her story, because she lived a very tough life, to be understood, not judged, and make her laugh as much as possible. And I sure miss doing that. I miss doing that. So this networking thing has been really blessing. And also my side job that I do on the weekends at nights that, make me laugh quite a bit more. But I miss telling my mom stuff, making her faces, and all kinds of stuff. Because in the end of the day, it was to make her laugh, would make me laugh as well. But so I, as a sister and a daughter from a distance, I did that role. Today, I just wanted to put a little plug on your ears, either if this is speaking directly to you, or maybe somebody in your life. I would love to speak to that person and create some space as well. This is complimentary, I'm not a therapist by no means. There is a lot of therapeutical modes, that it is, but I also have affiliations with therapists. And it's amazing what can happen when a client of mine is seeing a therapist and working with me, because we're so aligned in many ways, because there is a lot goes on, from the anxiety, from the insomnia, from migraines, from depression, and all that kind of, in all circumstances of life, even if you're a caregiver or not. Right. And when there is the wellness coach diving deep to find out these stressors, like I am, doing some functional labs, to figure out what are those stressors, how is it impacting your body, your brain, your digestive system, your liver, your blood, all those kind of things. What kind of antigens or pathogens are impacting your body, your energy, your clarity of mind. This is what I do. I'm a health detector. Right. And yes, I'm a coach, kind of showing the path and guiding the people. And there is a lot of techniques that I share with my folks. So from talking to Jeff today, which we will continue the conversation, I'll bring him on, but he and I are continuing this conversation to see what can we do more for his caregivers. His focus of a business today is on the patients, right? His patients who are living this world. The average age of his patients, I think he told me today, is about 83. Yes, 83 years old. They stay with him for about 45 days or so on average, but sometimes this is about 2 or 3 days. They're in hospice. There is all kinds of organizations that does to assist the patient and the family. It's 2/3 of that population. He says is about women, because women are living a little longer than men. And, and all that kind of stuff. So I need you to take a time off. I need you to assess what's going on with you. I'm begging you to do this. This is extremely important, okay, for you and for everybody around you. The word selfish sometimes is misunderstood, right? It has a pretty negative connotation. I don't think there is I want you to think about a positive connotation, because when we're selfish towards ourselves, to bring wellness to ourselves, to understand, to have the awareness of what's going on here, to create the timeouts, we can be better off to others. And that's my role, is sometimes to put a plug and to plant a seed. And maybe I'm planting a seed today to your ears or your vision, whatever that is, and somebody at some point, somebody else is going to collect it and saying, it's time for me to get help. And if that's today for you, schedule on a complimentary session. Let's talk. Let me see what's going on. Let me help you understand what you're going through. And if there is a fit, I can help you through the process. Okay. And it's a process that is unique to you. It's not do this, do that, like for everybody else. No, you are unique. You need to be treated like unique. And if you have a family that needs to, overhaul, I can help you with that too. If you're listening then and you see that you work for an organization that has a lot of this impacting the company, I'm willing to come and talk in person if you're in Atlanta, or travel me somewhere, or, we do this online too. There is no excuses here to take to take a step. There is absolutely no excuses whatsoever. So that's what I want to share with you today. Okay. You got to take care of yourself. And by the way, let me just put another thought here that, sometimes when I start speaking, this thoughts come in, right? And, the caregiver, I see, a lot of mothers, because mothers are caregivers too, right? And they have their young kids and they are noticing that they're not feeling well. They don't have the same energy, or they gain a lot of weight, and it's stubborn now. And, they are like, I want to spend quality time with my kids. But before I know, they are, not having that quality time because they're exhausted. They're fatigued. They have aches and pains. They're just not feeling well, period. Their brain is foggy. Memory is not the same. They're overwhelmed at work. And in some ways it says, oh, who needs something else to do? And it says, no, that's not it. This journey over here with me, is the one that you find answers, and then I help you put protocols that are related to natural therapies, from your nutrition, your supplementation, based on what we see on this data that we collect, right? Exercise, sleep, stress reduction, mindset work. There's all this is included, right? So that will help you to kind of build this path that is not only good for you as a mom, right? But also for the children that you're leading. You're a leader, as a mother. So, and you want to feel better and more in control, because you want to be present 100% with that child and for the rest of that child's life, right? So anyway, a caregiver does not mean that it's only for those seniors that, are ending at that last straw of their life, right? But also as a caregiver to the ones around you, the youngsters too, because you're a leader of their life. So anyway, if this is speaking to you, just reach out. Okay. Just reach out. I'm not a pushover here. I'm not going to sell into something that it has to be sold now. Let's have a conversation and we go from there. Okay. Hopefully you get that every time you see me talk or hear me. I don't believe that. Let me say this. I do believe that things happen for a reason. I believe that if you're listening to this message today and that's speaking to you, it is time for you to take action. Take a step. Call me, or 770-835-5490, or go to my website, which is befabu.com, BEFABBEYOU.com, and you're going to see several opportunities to schedule a complimentary session. Complete the intake form, okay, and then get a time on my calendar and let's talk. I'm here to help you. I care, okay? I care a lot. And so that's what I wanted to tell you today. And it was good to be back. A lot's coming up. By the way, one last thing before I decided that I'm going to start bringing more, not more, but I'm start bringing guests to my podcast. I'm meeting such an amazing group of people out there. And I'm kind of making a list of topics and people. And so you don't have to hear me only. I know that you love me, love my voice, my accent and all that. Sometimes you're wondering, what the hell did she say? Yeah, I know. So, you're going to speak to other people too. You're going to hear from other people too. So that's coming up, okay? Coming up soon. And I'm excited about that. So anyway, reach out, befabu.com. If you like what you hear, leave us a rating in iTunes. I would love to get your ratings, 5 stars, your comments, feedback, reach out, whatever. I'm here for you and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Take care. listening to the BFAB-BU Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also, see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of BFAB-BU Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for healthcare by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.